Good morning, early afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to Trailer Hitch.
You might be listening to it at night, too. Middle of the nights.
That's true. I say that because we are recording at an unusual time for us.
True.
It is daylight out. Mm-hmm. It is bright.
Yeah.
It is Saturday. This is our third attempt at trying to record this episode. Life got in the way, Kevin.
It did, yeah.
We're here. We stuck with it, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There were three separate stories that prevented us from recording earlier. Much like there are three separate stories in the French Dispatch, which we'll be talking about today.
And there's like three separate stories in our breakdown of the episode. We have like three different things that we're going to be covering.
We're not only going to be talking about a bunch of trailers, French Dispatch included. We will be bringing back our cross-country segment for that, just so that way we have the opportunity to talk about everything we want to catch you guys up on. We also saw a couple movies.
Both of them weren't ones that we both gave need to sees to,
Correct.
But I thought they were worth talking about, so that might be kind of fun to talk about those. One was a fan request.
Yeah, we did. We will be talking about Sonic. We did go out and see it, which I think will be good for us to talk about given the arduous history of Sonic trailers.
That's a good phrasing. Yeah,
tactful. That's what I was going for. Yeah. We will also be talking about The Invisible Man.
Yeah. And then to cap off the trifecta that we've been, kind of the theme that we've sort of set up on the fly here.
It's going great, by the way.
Thank you. We have a new segment that we are going to be introducing, and we're going to be doing it every year now, about the best trailer of Oscar films.
But first, let's hit that theme song.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves some whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
That's a great song, Kevin, but what the viewers missed out on was me humming my own little song during our theme song.
That is kind of a trailer hitch tradition, to have you humming something. Or singing something. If
Though
we do have a fan who is brave enough, if you make a supercut of every time James has sung on Trailer Hitch, we will reward you. We do have an email you can send that to at the end of this episode, but we got to start the episode first.
Oh, so we should do that, yeah.
We'll do that by saying, hi, this is Trailer Hitch. I'm Kevin.
Hi, this is Trailer Hitch. I'm James.
This is a trailer review podcast where we rate and review movie trailers. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both give a trailer a need to see rating, we go see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Rear View, in which we talk about the film, review that, but also look at the trailer in retrospect and see how it set us up for the film. If it gave us way too much, maybe that's coming up this episode. If it didn't necessarily prove what the movie was about, maybe that's coming up this episode. You'll have to listen and find out. And you have two opportunities to see if that's what's coming up this episode, because we will be talking about Sonic, we will be talking about Invisible Man, we will have other trailers to talk about and to rate and review. But first, yes, as James alluded, we do have a new segment.
Yeah.
Do we have a catchy name for this?
Absolutely not.
Nope, we don't.
No time to figure it out now. We had time and we didn't do it.
We had weeks and we didn't.
We had so much time. We'll come up with it post-humorously.
Oh, that's very good. Because we are going to be awarding, from here on out, the best trailer of the Best Picture nominees for every Oscar season. So we're taking every Best Picture nominee, which I'll list out just because it's been a while.
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
Yeah, just to get everyone caught up on what the field is.
In the future, we'll be doing this before the Oscars air.
Yeah. We were definitely slow on the uptake this time.
Well, I mean, Kevin came up with this idea, but he didn't come up with it until like after the Oscars
Listen,
aired. So
James and I are both getting older. That means we're slower, as you can tell by this. And if you're like, well, you messed the timing up, why not just wait till next year? Well, because James and I are both older, our memories aren't as good. So we know if we don't do it now, we're going to forget about it in a year.
yeah,
So,
every episode of Trailer Hitch is ingrained in my memory. It's like a photographic memory. I have like a tape recorder in my head. So if we do it on the show, I'll never forget it. Wow. I'm in for it. That's definitely not true.
Listen, man, I keep the logs for these things, and I don't remember every episode. So you're really putting yourself on a pedestal
You're
right
reading
now.
the log and go, what the hell was that? Also, I apologize if you're hearing drilling in the background.
Yeah, is there repair work
Our
being
bad
done?
movie correspondent Jenny is doing some drilling in our bedroom.
For what and why?
Nope, she just
don't-
apologized.
yeah.
Don't apologize. It's funny.
It's okay, Jenny.
We turned it into a bit. It's fine now. I don't know what she said, but
I'm sure it was hilarious.
it's fine. It's fine, everyone. It's fine. Everything's fine. Let's get into the show. How about that?
What is she building in there?
I don't even know.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, the Oscars. They came. They went. It's been a while. Let's list the Best Picture nominees so that we can say which ones were definitively had the best trailers.
Yes. Okay, so your Best Picture nominees this year were Parasite, which did win Best Picture.
It did. Congratulations,
we-
not
James
Little
and I-
Women.
Yeah, James and I correctly called that Little Women was not going to win. We incorrectly called that 1917
1917 was going to win.
Yeah.
Not only win, but like sweep everything, which
yeah.
it didn't.
I do.
Okay.
I think I got some sound categories.
Good for
got
good,
cinematography.
good for it. Yeah.
So we have Parasite. We have 1917. We have Ford versus Ferrari. Joker. All right, that came out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Irishman. Little Women. Jojo Rabbit. And Marriage Story.
Okay.
So
All right.
those were our nominees.
Good contenders, though, in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
trailers. Like,
I think the only one I had to familiarize myself with was Marriage Story. We didn't talk about that on the show, so
we
went out of my
didn't,
way
but
to watch
I
that.
definitely was. I think I floated it past you a couple times, and sometimes they just don't make the cut because there's something more pressing to talk about.
Right.
It was
like segments for Oscars, even though that happened a month ago.
It wasn't just. Oh, damn. That's true. It was an interesting marketing campaign for Marriage Story, though, because they did like one trailer from Scarlett Johansson's perspective, then they did one trailer from Adam Driver's perspective.
Oh shit! No kidding.
It was really interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. I only saw a trailer where it was both of their perspectives, and it kind of made it like this looks like an indie dramedy, and that's not what Marriage Story is.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a dramedy. There's no comedy in it.
Not really. Like there's golf clap humor, but it's mostly sad.
Yeah, well, you're just still distraught from the scene before.
Right.
You don't even want to clap. Okay, so yeah, a good batch of trailers this year.
Definitely. Yeah. I will go ahead. I will say that my favorite trailer of the lot is 1917.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
very
and
good.
I'm picking 1917 because it had a really impossible task, which was trying to sell you on a one-take movie, which James and I talked about extensively, is incredibly hard to do in a trailer. And so it chose not to do that. Makes sense. But instead, it had a really interesting use for title cards.
It did something new.
It did something unique, which did complement the unique nature in which the movie was shot. In addition, it managed to give you a lot about the movie while avoiding a pretty significant twist. And it showed things post-twist, but in a way where it didn't give that away.
You didn't
Which
necessarily...
I'm being as vague as possible in case people haven't seen 1917.
I'm glad you are, but it didn't make you draw conclusions
Correct.
from certain visuals.
Yeah.
And you should listen, if you've seen 1917 or if you haven't seen 1917, you should listen to our review of the movie, because I really liked that episode that we did.
Good plug, James.
Yeah, thank you. I don't remember what episode, so good luck. Go find it.
I thought you remembered all of these. Never mind.
Ooh, fair. You're already calling me out on it. I had a hard time between Jojo Rabbit in 1917. Jojo Rabbit was like, this is so
The trailer's
bizarre.
really good.
Well, it's so good. It doesn't hold your hand about like, okay, guys, we're gonna be doing Hitler stuff, and you're gonna laugh at it. It just throws you in. It's like, we're doing Hitler stuff, and you better laugh. Because it's funny, it's sad, it's depressing, but it's also we can poke fun at certain aspects of this.
Sure.
And that was jarring. And I don't know of any trailers that really kind of throw you in like that. So I respected that trailer a lot.
But there's only one best trailer.
There's only one best trailer. And like I thought 1917 was going to sweep the Academy Awards, it also swept in my heart the best trailer also.
There you go.
Yeah,
there
1917's
so
trailer.
Maybe us saying
Holy
1917 was going to win was us just projecting how much we liked the trailer onto the ceremony.
In a lot of ways, that's what this show's about. Is this trailer. Is trailers and what we think of them.
Yeah.
And how that influences our life. So 1917, the whole marketing campaign, not even just like one trailer, but I thought it did a fantastic job of setting the story up, but also building in a lot of ways. And like you said, the title card's such a cool idea, such a unique idea. It took it home for me.
That is what we've given the best trailer to. So I'm sure Sam Mendes was just sitting at home. Maybe he was happy for Bong Joon-ho and Parasite, but at the same time, he was pretty bummed because I'm sure that movie meant a lot to him. And now, all of a sudden, he's going to get a little best trailer from Trailer Hitch in the mail.
I mean, we have there's no.
And he's going to be like, I had nothing to do with that trailer. This doesn't fucking smooth anything over for me.
There's no physical award, but
oh god, no.
You get the verbal appreciation.
Sam Mendes, please feel free to reach out to us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com if you would like us to personally congratulate you, even though you probably didn't have anything to do with the marketing on this.
Yeah.
I guess the trailer company could reach out to us. Whatever, fuck it. We're gonna move on.
Let's move on. We got. We got to
get across the country, man.
Yeah.
We got to get across the country. So we've only done this segment once. It went with mixed results last time because we ended up not hitting our goal. But
we had a lot of fun doing it.
Had a ton of fun. Yeah, as all cross country trips are.
And it's an effective way of doing a lot of trailers.
Yes, it really is.
We have limited time for. So
yes. So James and I have, I believe, 5 trailers to talk about today.
5 is correct.
Total. Yes. So what James and I are doing with Cross Country is we are capping the amount of time in which we can talk about each trailer. So if you let us just talk however long we wanted for each of these, oh, folks, this would be a 4-hour-long episode. We do not need to put you through that. We probably can't put us through that.
In terms of editing and recording.
Yeah,
we can't.
So this is what we do. We go cross country. We are trying to hit our destination in a certain amount of time, but we want to stop and get the sights too.
Yeah.
Take in the heartland, as they say.
And we picked an arbitrary time of 3 minutes per trailer this time.
Yes.
I think last time we did this, it was 4.
It was 5.
It was 5? Okay. Yeah. It'll fluctuate depending on how much time we have, period, and how many trailers we have. We have 5 trailers. I think we can do 3 minutes each.
3 minutes a pop. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, we are giving ourselves 12 minutes total with 3 minutes a pop per trailer.
Yeah.
You probably just did some quick math at home and you went...
That's not right.
Yeah, you're clearly missing one. It's 15 minutes, right? No, it's not. It's 12 minutes. This is going to incentivize James and I to try to keep it brief.
Yep.
To keep our verbosity in check, damn it.
And we can do it, too.
Maybe. History shows so far, no. But we'll see with this time. So if we finish talking about a trailer and we have, say, like a minute left over, then that minute goes to our last trailer, which today is Antebellum.
Antebellum, there was a second...
It's the first official trailer.
Okay, even though it's shorter...
We'll get to it.
Cool. So anytime that, like you said, anytime...
That's leftover.
That's leftover time. So we might not have any time to get to it at all.
And bear in mind, maybe James and I do really well, and we have like a full 3 to 4 minutes to talk about Antebellum. We could also have 10 seconds. It really depends.
Or 0.
So
a lot like cross-country road trips, you might never get to your destination.
True.
You could die on the way.
Yeah. That's a good thought to inject into
What
this
a
before we get
morbid
started.
idea.
Let's say James and I get to Antebellum and we go over on Antebellum. What happens? Well, folks, we are then forced to watch a film that we gave double never need to sees tos for the trailer. And we will throw a list on Facebook, a poll. You can pick and choose which film you will punish us with. Now, we are going to get on this cross-country road trip. So the very first one we're going to be talking about is The French Dispatch. James, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. And now, The French Dispatch. Wes Anderson is back with something different. A mostly white, star-studded cast looking into camera. But for real, it's his first attempt at an anthology film, and Anderson, known for his pastel palette, shoots these anthologies in black and white. So, first of all, they figured out a way to convey the anthology structure in a trailer without coming out and saying it, which I think is really commendable and really interesting. I do really like the black and white, so anytime this is about a newspaper or like a New Yorker-esque magazine putting out stories, and each story is within the anthology, and all of those are shot in black and white. I thought that was really cool and motivated because text is white page on black with black writing. And so the fact that it was in black and white, I think still makes sense. I really liked how the journalists that you see are actually in those stories too, because I think an issue that can come up with anthology films is the characters who are in like the overarching plot have so little to do with the anthology that they become effectively useless within those stories and the story as a whole. So putting those characters in the anthology stories kind of helps smooth that over. So I think that's a really cool way to go into it. In terms of like things I didn't like, really didn't need to see Benicio del Toro's character in the electric chair within this trailer.
I wish that wasn't in that.
I know you see Benicio del Toro after that,
but it could be out of context.
It could be out of context, and it's one of those things where I really wish I didn't see that. I will also say a lot of Wes Anderson's humor, I think, works best in context. Mm-hmm. And outside of context, most of the trailer was golf clap humor, where it was like, oh, I see that joke, kind of good. But I really wasn't laughing all that much. But overall, I was definitely impressed with this. How about you, James?
Okay, so for me, I'm glad you mentioned the anthology thing. That's something I did not clock in this.
Really?
At all. And I like full stop. I watch it multiple times.
But it's colored. And then it goes into black and white.
I'm aware.
And there's also cards that say story 1.
Kevin, I've heard the explanation. Multiple people have been the ones to tell me this. And like once people brought that to my attention, I'm like, yeah, I see it now.
Okay.
And I am a little disappointed in myself that I didn't pick up on these things.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
I just, I like being able to pick up on things, and the fact that I didn't, and I just looked at this as a ensemble movie, and all these ensemble pieces are going to be talking, addressing different things. I just didn't think of it as an anthology film. But here we are, it is. But, I love the trailer regardless. Even though I thought it was like one cohesive story.
Sure. With
just like different, subplots. I just really liked it. I love Wes Anderson's style. It's something that I've grown more and more appreciative of. And that's the end.
Oh my God, was that time already?
That was time.
Jesus Christ.
So what do we give it?
All right, well, I gave it a need to see.
I'm giving it a need to see as well.
Oh, cool. Double need to see.
It was like a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing.
Definitely. All right, and stop.
Stop.
How much time?
We went over by 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Okay. So that is +3 for us.
Are you going to keep track of that?
I'll keep track. Don't you worry about it, my man. Well, that's really discouraging.
Sorry, Antebellum.
Well, maybe we'll make up for it. It's okay. It's okay. We're hunting to make sure that we can give Antebellum enough time, and maybe we can come back with some Deerskin. The next trailer is Deerskin. A filmmaker becomes transfixed with his midlife crisis purchase, a deerskin jacket. Presumably, the only fan of his filmmaking wants to see more bloodshed in his films, so he starts making snuff films looking damn good doing it. So, it's been a while since I've been bewitched by something this bonkers, and this fucking hit the spot for me. I think the trailer did a really good job of viewing the protagonist from a satirical lens that ensured that it didn't embolden him, and that protagonist is Jean Dujardin from The Artist, which, by the way, still exists.
That's him?
Yeah! And it also has Portrait of a Lady on Fire's Adele Hanel, so it's like a French who's who in this. Wow, dope.
Cool.
I think the score slaps. It starts with really rustic music at the beginning, and then as the story and the violence becomes more and more absurd and chaotic, that techno score really ramps up. I thought that was an excellent choice. Also, I think if you're going to intellectually bully me with critic quotes, do it this way where it's big and flashy and it looks like a Gaspar Noé movie. I will totally admit that this is all style at this point, but I'm totally fucking in on the style. How about you, James?
I don't even think it is all style. Okay, what I have here is this might be the most Kevin trailer of 2020 so far. Having said that, though, yeah, man, it's pretty rad. Like the humor is spot on. Mostly thanks to the main guy's delivery, which I didn't know was the artist guy, but his delivery is so deadpan, but also like really timely funny. It's so good. The music and the editing is excellent. Excellent. It builds so well. And it has a killer funny button, which I'm a sucker for. The whole, like, you know...
Yeah, this is going to be really weird.
This is going to be weird, right? No, it's awesome. Like, it's a great meta joke, but also it fits in the world. On the technical level, the trailer's excellent. But on the subject matter flip side, I've never been a fan of films about snuff films.
Sure.
And I don't see that changing for me ever.
That's right.
And that's
fine.
It's
a gross subject.
Yeah. But the crafting of the trailer is so good. I can't give this anything less than what I'm about to give it, which I forgot. Need to see.
It's a need to see for me too.
And stop. 53 seconds.
Oh my god.
We have 53 seconds left. You're welcome, Antebellum.
Welcome, Antebellum.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. We got a full 50 seconds to talk about
I did not know that was the artist guy.
Yeah, man.
Holy crap. I can see it now in my head.
He has a beard in this.
He's more rugged. He's rugged here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the deerskin jacket, really, that's doing all the work for him.
Yeah. And I think that trailer does a really good... You know what? No, fuck it. We're already done talking about it.
We're done talking about it, yeah.
We have to move on. We got to get on this road. Maybe we'll hit a restroom, bathroom, and say Candyman 5 times in a mirror to get this next trailer to show up. Yes, this is Candyman. An artist goes to search for Candyman, even though he could presumably just stay at home and say his name 5 times in the mirror. It's basically the horror version of Postmates. So I think this takes the hardest thing about making Candyman scary, which is just don't say his fucking name in the mirror, and adds an interesting riff. The artist himself sees Candyman as himself in one scene. I'm really hoping beyond all hope that's not like a dream sequence or a
I think
cop
it's
out.
more than one scene.
And I really would love to see that expanded upon. Otherwise, I did really dig the style. I love the woman being lifted up by what felt like an invisible force from across the street. Thought that looked great. I will admit the style is super close to Jordan Peele. So like that exterior house shot, I was like, oh yeah, us. When I heard the quote-unquote scary cover of a song in this trailer, I was like, that's the Us trailer. I do like the style, at least, so that does help. At the moment, I'd really like to see what would distinguish this from the 92 version of Candyman or whenever the other one came out. But I'm definitely intrigued. So how about you?
Okay, so I've never seen Candyman before. And so I didn't realize it's basically Bloody Mary, like saying Bloody Mary in the mirror. So that was interesting. I love the song choice, the Say My Name, Say My Name.
Sure.
It's like a meme equivalent of like, I see what you did there.
Definitely.
It's really beautiful. It's vibrant, even though it's like visually dark. That's hard to do. Like that's
absolutely.
I mean, that's tricky to do, and I thought that's impressive.
In retrospect, the color palette across
the board
is great.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And also, I really love the mirror art exhibit. I thought that was a nice touch to add some, like, this is bullshit, right, aspect to it.
Sure.
It looks good, man, but it's missing something that really drives it home for me. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that I hate bees, but anyway, that's all I got. So what do you give it?
For me, I'm at a need to see more.
I am also at a need to see more.
And stop.
Stop, 56 seconds.
Jesus.
We're crushing it. This is amazing.
I think
we're doing a good job.
At this point now, not to give it away, I think we have more time to talk about Antebellum than the length of the trailer of Antebellum.
It's so short, Kevin.
It's so fucking short, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to keep on going with this. We're back on the road, but don't worry, we're going to stay connected to our roots, but also our phones too, because this is Connected. This is Connected, an animated family film that makes the logical leap that the disconnect between a father and daughter about her perceived overuse of screens at the table will lead to robots killing us all. So I'm sure this is to get the Luddites out en masse by showing me a motherfucker get launched into the sky like a Dragon Ball Z character because he used a bidet. But for fairness' sake, though, the dad is sad because his daughter uses technology too much. But to show how connected they were before the screens, we see home videos. That's still technology, Dad. I do like the way that the father-daughter arc is built here. I do wish we got an iota more from the mom and the son who are also in this trailer, and kind of hope they aren't completely tertiary to this film.
Yeah.
I do understand you can only show so much within a trailer, though, so whatever. Think this showed me a little too much of the family's arc, though, and like how the dad and the daughter kind of connect with each other at the end. I think I would have preferred, especially with the left turn this trailer takes, if they'd showed me how the tech-verse daughter handled the robots in comparison to the tech-verse dad, how they fought against them.
I think that's fair.
Also, I will just say, at one point, you see the daughter recording something. The date on it is September of 2020. And I thought super bold of this movie to assume we all won't be killed by the coronavirus by then. James, what do you think?
All right, man, it's really weird to be at an age and generation where I'm super feeling both sides of this debate. Like, I'm young enough to side with Katie on technology usage and being frustrated with older generations, like, not getting it, not understanding. But I'm old enough to fear the inevitable apocalypse brought on by artificial intelligence. I mean, you know, that old chestnut. You know me, Kevin. You know me.
Personified here in this trailer.
Just like older generations can't seem to see beyond their demise enough to want to save the planet from pollution and global warming. On the flip side, the younger generation hasn't watched enough Terminator 2. They just haven't watched it enough. So I am of the generation that I'm like, no, you both need to get your crap together and save the world from both of these things.
Okay.
That's all I got. So what do you give it?
Seriously? That was it?
That's it. That's all I got.
Did you like the jokes in this? Or?
I'm sorry. Did I not? I didn't write it down. I loved this trailer.
Oh, okay.
All of it.
Okay,
Cool, yeah.
I was at a need to see more.
I'm at a need to see it.
And
stop. 35 seconds.
Oh, damn, look at us.
Whew.
We have 2 minutes and 21 seconds to talk about Antebellum.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh my god. Let's see if this happens. All right, folks, get ready. This is Antebellum. A black activist is chosen by some mysterious force to go back in time to the slavery era South. Will Janelle Monáe be able to save herself and others from the worst force imaginable? White people with horses? So, fuck me, what a short trailer. This trailer's 47 seconds. They're really banking on the movie and word of mouth carrying its appeal, which is an interesting play.
Sure.
It does give it very little to go off of and mostly uses title cards to get its story across, which is fair. Not as visually stirring as just being able to see this play out. It does give a little bit more context than the first trailer that
I'd
we
agree
saw.
with that, even though it's shorter.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued, but as a trailer, I felt like, especially time-wise, this is way too light. I also think it kind of loses some of traditional horror movie imagery in the back half once she gets to the South. And maybe they are trying to make a connection where, like, what you see in that point is horror movie. But in order to really fully make that mesh, I would like to see that concept flesh out a little bit more in a longer trailer.
Yeah. Like you said, it gives a little bit more context in the first teaser, even though it's shorter. Mm-hmm. For example, her goal once she's in the past. Like, she's clearly leading an uprising. We didn't get that in the first one. But it's not much more than that. Like, I liked the visual warping of, like, the hallway and the little girl at the beginning, and then that follows through with Monet in the fields. Like, and it's like a shorthand for telling you there's some supernatural happening here. But it's not really hooking me, though, on the concept alone. I'd like to dive more into, like, her as a person a bit more. Yeah, we haven't really gotten any of that. It seems more action or concept focused.
Yeah, her speaking at the event is really the only thing we've gotten about her specifically.
Well, and it's
in
like
either trailer.
But it doesn't even talk about her. It's
it's just what she stands for.
Yeah, which is good. That's good.
It's something.
It's important information, but we don't know anything about her yet. Still. Correct. She does yoga in her apartment, I guess, and then someone knocks at her door. Like, that's about it. But it was cool to see some action in this. Like, she's riding a horse at the end in, like, slow motion, leading a revolt. I'm like, oh no!
Are you serious?
We went over.
Oh, god damn it!
Oh, that sucks. Well,
it really felt like you were almost done too.
I was almost done. I was gonna say, I like the action. There's in a horror film, which I think it's a horror. It's hard to. I can't peg the genre of this, is what I was going for. Like, there looks like there's some, like, cool action in here. Mm-hmm. But also, it's like, is it a horror film? It's almost like the horror aspects are in present day. When in the past, when it's really horrific subject matter, that's when it turns into an action film. Like, wouldn't that be kind of an interesting take on it?
Yeah. No, you're completely right. This is genre averse, or maybe like genre literate, where it's just anything goes within this movie. Yeah, which I'm definitely interested to see what all mixes here. But at the same time, like, you have to give me more than 47 seconds in order to be able to, like, adequately say whether or not I think the mixture works.
Yeah. Speaking of not enough time,
By the way, need to see more.
Yeah, need to see more for me as well. But we failed
again.
But I think we got closer this time.
We did.
Than our last time doing this segment.
Yeah, we did.
We will be seeing a horrible movie.
Yes.
Or what we perceive to be a horrible movie. We've been wrong in the past. We saw the Autopsy of Jane Doe, and they're like, that's not bad.
That was okay. Yeah.
So we will be seeing that. We'll be putting up a voting thing, and then that might be an episode coming up. So there you go.
Oh boy.
Should we move on to our next segment? Let's not dwell on it, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let's not dwell on. I can see you're tanking. We got to keep the energy up.
I am Hello Darkness, my old friend.
Maybe we should have ended with this segment so we could end it on such a low note, because I really like to, make people.
No. You're right. You're right.
At the end of the episode.
Rally back, and we will be doing that with a trailer in the rear view on a pretty contentious trailer, and then a pretty inoffensive trailer, and then maybe an okay movie with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Road trip? Woo-woo! This can't be happening to me. Oh my God, stop the car right now. What? The world's largest rubber band ball? We gotta see it.
No, this is not some fun family road trip.
You're right. It was lame. Gift shop was cool though.
The first one was like the hardest never need to see I think we've given. This one for me, I'm still going to be at a need to see more, but god damn, this is like easily most improved of the year.
I'm also upping it to a need to see more as well.
All right, we out here like a mostly forgotten fast food chain to review Sonic the Hedgehog. This trailer request and subsequent movie review request came from our listener Rio. Shout out to Rio.
Thanks, Rio.
Yep, wanted to honor him, and now we're going to be talking about Sonic and the trailer specifically. So, as we have alluded...
Which trailer?
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about the first trailer.
Which will be dubbed...
Because the first trailer was Sonic as a Who or a Lovecraftian nightmare, whichever you prefer.
But also Gangsters in Paradise.
Gangsters Paradise,
Gangsters Paradise with Coolio for some reason.
There was a lot going on there that made no one happy. Yeah. That's correct. Now, with this second trailer, we talked a lot about how, God, this is such an improvement over the first one.
It really was.
And we were both at need to see mores for this. And now we've gone and we've seen the movie. So, James, in retrospect, how does this trailer work for you? Do you think that this adequately set you up for what you got?
Well, I mean, we kind of have to break it down by each trailer. The first one, no. Like, that first trailer is just, like, what is this?
Mind-bogglingly
What is
bad.
this for?
Yeah.
It wasn't the final product. I saw this final product, and I'm like, what happened here? Like, compared to that first trailer. It was so odd.
It did. The first trailer took, I think, the worst aspects of the movie and put them on the forefront.
And it was like, but the broad strokes were correct. It's like,
Kinda.
It's Sonic in the real world. Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik wants to, take him down because he's threatening his world, and he's doing it with robots. James Marsden is there to help him along the way. Like, the broad strokes are correct. But it's just, the style of it is just so, like, what was that? Mm-hmm. And then the second trailer, made so much more sense to me. I thought it sold the film really well.
Better music choices.
Exceptionally better music choices.
Better...
we got a lot more Dr. Robotnik and Jim carrying it up.
Yeah.
And that is present in the film, like, Correct. A lot. The friendship between Sonic and James Marsden is, like, really a driving force of the movie. Like, if it's a scale of thumbs up, thumbs down, that second trailer sold the movie. Thumbs up.
It's really, especially having seen the movie, remarkable how much better the second trailer does. We haven't even talked about the Sonic redesign, but I will say that
I was intentionally steering clear of it.
Yeah, because... For us, of course, we can all make fun of the teeth. It goes beyond that with that first trailer.
Yeah.
And the second trailer, I think, definitely gives you a better impression of what makes Jim Carrey funny in the movie. I think it does a pretty good job of getting Sonic's brattiness across, because that is definitely present within the movie, too.
Yeah.
All while giving you the context of the movie. I think the only thing it really... missells you on is why the power goes out, because in the trailer it's Sonic fucking around, and that's why he's at the ball diamond.
You think he's just like, I'm not aware of my own
I'm not
abilities.
Thinking.
how it happens in the movie is
He's
like...
depressed is what's happening.
It's impactful, though, too.
Kind of.
Like, I remember that part, and I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense than how the trailer presented
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So Sonic isn't nearly as much of a doofus as he may come across in the trailer.
He has longings and desires
But
for
they're trying to
something,
keep the trailer light. I understand why they made the decision, but at the same point, by removing the impact behind his choice that ends up killing the power and alerting everyone that he exists, then it kind of makes it seem like, oh, he's just not aware of his surroundings, as you put it. But overall, like, that's really the only thing where it's like, oh, you're kind of being led down the wrong path that way. Otherwise, no, this is pretty much giving you what you got.
Enough about the trailer, probably, right?
We can just get
talk
into
about
the movie itself.
Yeah. Spoilers from here on out.
Correct.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Although at the same time, there's really not a lot to spoil.
But me personally, even though it's such a low-risk movie, like Sonic the Hedgehog,
right.
I still would have been kind of irritated if someone spoiled that Tails is at the end of this movie.
Oh, sure.
For example.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I like to cover our bases.
I probably
like Sonic running around the baseball diamond. There are spoilers here.
Yes,
so here we go.
Yes, that's true.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. I don't know. It was fine. I really enjoyed how fast-paced the jokes were. I thought that matched really well, obviously, with Sonic's one defining trait.
We talked about that a lot right after the movie.
Yeah, it does. It machine guns jokes at you. Of the jokes, I would say about, like, I don't know, like a fifth or a quarter of them landed with me. Like, there are jokes in here that I thought are really funny. You do see one really good, probably my favorite Dr. Robotnik joke in the trailer, which is the, would you like some coffee, sir? And he's screaming, of course I do! I love the way you make them!
I love the way you make them.
Awesome. Hilarious. Love it. But, yeah, I mean, Sonic, by design for this movie, is definitely meant to appeal to kids and to speak to the hyperactivity of like an 8-year-old. And because of that, sometimes the character is like kind of charming and like some of the humor is like kind of cute and well-meaning. And then sometimes it's like just gross for the sake of gross, or
gross? Is there?
I mean, like, when I say gross, I mean like the fart jokes.
Is there a fart joke?
Yeah, there was. When they're in the motel room, he farts at one point, and he's like, I had chili dogs.
Oh, man. See, they come so mile a minute that one didn't even register with me, which is good, because I don't like fart jokes.
But yeah, so, like, some of the humor is definitely designated for kids and only kids.
Yep.
You, as an adult, I presume we only have adults listening. If you're young, I guess reach out to us and let us know you're there. But to the adults listening, it's like, yeah, there's some stuff in here for you. This is, like, the quintessential, if you go and your niece or nephew is like, I want to watch Sonic, totally not bad. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be miserable the entire time watching it by any stretch of the imagination. I will say, in terms of what kind of missed for me in this movie, I know they're trying to build a connection between him and a human character, but the idea of taking a character who is naturally very fast and then putting him in the passenger seat of a truck for the vast majority of the second act felt like a misstep to me. Because I want to see Sonic run real fast. And if it's mostly him trading quips in a car, I'm like, well, that's not really what speaks to this character, though.
Huh. Okay.
How about you, James? What are you thinking?
It's no surprise to you or anyone. I think I liked this a lot more than you did.
Okay.
I think if we were breaking down a fraction of the jokes that worked for me versus not worked for me, it would be more than a fifth, like you said.
I said up to a quarter.
Up to a quarter. Okay. I'd say probably like 3/4 worked for me.
Whoa.
So I liked it a lot. It was very unassuming. I just enjoyed myself a lot during it.
Okay.
And a lot of that was the humor, but a lot of it too was, like, I didn't mind the fact that he was riding shotgun in a truck, trading quips, because I thought they set up well that the one thing he longs for is to make a best friend. He's not running because his goal is to make James Marsden his best friend.
I think it would have maybe resonated a little bit more. Because, yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, that's what he longs to be, James Marsden's friend. But at the same time, like, I needed him to shit-talk the truck more. Like, him talking about the horsepower on it and him being like, I don't know what that is, but I can outrun this thing.
Sure.
You know, like, I wanted to kind of get more of what makes Sonic Sonic, in doing so in a way where it's like, oh, it kind of makes sense why he's alone. Not just because of his circumstances, but because he kind of has to grow up too.
So you wanted Sonic to be more of a dick.
A hair one.
Just a hair.
Just
a Sonic hair.
Just one Sonic hair of prickishness. Throw it in the mix. But speaking of pricks in this movie, Jim Carrey definitely plays a prick in this movie. And how did he work for you, James?
Aces. I have been a fan for a really long time, but he's also a guy who's gone through some shit in his life.
Yeah.
And I think that's reflected in some of the roles he takes on in recent years.
He's definitely far more introspective now. But yeah, when it comes to this movie, this is definitely the first Jim Carrey is being 90s era Jim Carrey.
But it was just really heartwarming to me to see Jim Carrey do this kind of role, and it looked like he had a fun time with it, and that's what I want for him. I respect him and just love him as a performer so much that I also want him to be happy. That's really important to me, too.
Yeah.
That it looked like he had a fun time with this, so that made me really happy.
Yeah, I think I read after the fact, he pretty much riffed everything that his character did in the movie. And honestly, having seen the movie, yeah, that tracks.
He does like a little dance number.
Yeah, he does.
Like when he's like doing like robotic stuff and he's doing a dance, and I'm like, I'm just so happy just watching this. It was enjoyable to me.
I definitely had that same soft spot for Jim Carrey growing up too. Maybe to a degree you could make an argument that Jim Carrey in this movie is like pure nostalgia bait, where it's like he's not doing anything too different from those roles, but at the same time, like, it did kind of give me a little nostalgia hit. I'll fully admit that. Two, maybe like if you watch this with niece or nephew and they were like, that man is so funny, you can be like, all right,
hold on one second,
and you can just dive into all those movies too. I mean, like, I know that it might not be breaking new ground for him as a performer, but overall, no, I found him enjoyable.
Super enjoyable. And speaking of nostalgia and going away from Jim Carrey a little bit, just a couple more things I really liked about it. I really appreciated the final climactic battle between Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. How does he defeat Dr. Robotnik, Kevin?
Just bouncing on him.
Bouncing on his windshield.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you beat Dr. Robotnik.
And how Sonic fights,
I'm like, it's something that I never thought of before I sat in on the movie. It doesn't need to include that. Why would I care? The second I saw it starting to happen, I'm like, I'm so happy that this is how he defeats Dr. Robotnik. And then Tails is in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Yep. Post-credit
scene. That's it. Like I said, I really enjoyed the movie a lot. Maybe not my favorite movie of the year, but that will be reserved for something we're about to talk about.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. We'll talk about that. But first, let's give this a rating. Now, with trailer in the rear views, we give the films a rating of should see again as the tippy top, glad I saw it, should have waited, and shouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
James, where are you at?
I'm at a very solid glad I saw it with this one.
Okay.
Not the very tippy top, but it surprised me. I liked this more than I thought I would going in.
Sure. For me, I'm at a should have waited.
Sure.
Like, I thought that there was stuff that worked in here. Like, I was very down the middle on it. Much like Sonic running down a road, just like straight as an arrow, 300 miles an hour. It came and it went, and I was like, yep, that was fine. And yeah, I'm ready to move on to something that I can't see, and not because it's too fast, but because it's goddamn invisible, James. This is the Invisible Man.
Per his final wishes, you're getting $5 million. Contingent, of course, on the fine print.
He can't be ruled to be mentally incompetent.
It just doesn't make any sense.
What?
Adrian wouldn't kill himself.
Listen, you're getting your freedom back, okay? Don't let him haunt you.
Hello?
Completely right, man. This does definitely feel like it gives away a little bit too much at the end. That is probably the biggest thing that's holding me back on this, so it is a need to see more.
But I just was so happy to see this look good that I think I'm going to give it a pass this time, and this is a need to see it for me. Oh, Kevin, I didn't see where you were going with that. Well done. Well done.
Neither did any of the people the Invisible Man kill in this movie. All right, so first, we are going to be talking about the trailer in retrospect. Now, again, right off the top, I admit I gave this a need to see more just on the basis of like, oh, this trailer Just kind of feels like they're taking the entire movie and like smooshing it. You gave it a need to see though.
I did indeed, yeah.
It's also, at the time of this recording, top of March. Still pretty early in the movie season though, so it's like it was either Invisible Man or nothing else. So we saw Invisible Man.
I mean, yeah, you saw Invisible Man. I was very excited to see Invisible Man.
So now we have the trailer for The Invisible Man.
That's right.
Now, James, how do you think this trailer did in retrospect? Did it give you what you thought you were going to get?
So after that trailer, because there were, and we talked about it in the episode, there were certain aspects that I'm like, we probably are going down routes that we probably should save for the movie.
Yeah.
I cold stopped watching trailers and TV spots for The Invisible Man. And I'm glad I did, because I heard they got worse and worse with giving things away. Now, having said that, the trailer we did review did like approach danger zone, which is why I made that decision.
It gives you, I think,
if you could remind the audience, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the movie's about 2 hours. You're getting stuff all the way up to like the hour 40 mark.
Yeah, so it's not like specific events that it's spoiling.
You're missing the climax of the film, and that's it. Yeah. Otherwise, that's the movie.
So it's not spoiling connective tissue,
no,
which is important.
Yes,
and,
absolutely,
and surprising and fun to watch.
There is one surprising scene in it. The trailers thankfully don't give away,
but it does give you all of the set pieces. She ends up in prison in the trailer,
yeah,
and so you don't get the connective tissue of how she ends up there, but you know she ends up there.
Yes,
so that aspect of the trailer was a bit much.
Well, and you also see her effectively getting out of prison too.
Correct. Well, and like, I mean, an argument could be made of like, she was probably going to get out anyway.
Well, yeah. Oh, God, yeah, of course. But it's one of those like, man, you guys are not shy about plot points in this thing.
Now, in terms of selling the movie properly, I think in terms of the spectrum, it lands on the side of, yes, it's selling the movie properly. Do I wish it didn't have her in the psychiatric ward, like the prison psychiatric ward? Yeah. I think that would have been something really impactful. The fact that we don't know it ends up there.
Correct.
But on a pass-fail system, I still think this passes as sells the movie properly. What do you think?
So for me, it's going to be a side tangent that wraps back. I appreciate your patience.
All right. Sure.
You know, I see a lot of stuff. Typically it's online where like, you know, a trailer comes out. But there's always someone who's like really quick to say, well, I don't watch trailers because they give too much away. Or it's like, oh, trailers these days give away the entire movie. And as someone who watches trailer after trailer after trailer for this podcast, that's mostly bullshit.
No, it's bullshit. You can lean into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where no, I mean, the vast majority of trailers don't give away too much. And I think that there is a lot of really creative editing that goes on behind the scenes. We talked a lot about 1917 earlier this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is one that does a really creative job to avoid giving away a twist. For what it's worth, no, we don't see every movie of every trailer that we see on this show. But, you know, we've seen a pretty healthy mix up to and including Cats. So I can say for the most part that's not true. And now leaning back into the Invisible Man trailer, it's like, God damn it, now you're giving them a point. Because this one does give away far too much. And we'll have to get into it once we get into the actual movie review itself. And I can freely talk about spoilers and how even though it didn't spoil key scenes that I really liked, I kind of ended up getting ahead of the movie because I knew we were going all the way to the prison and then her getting out of the prison. And yeah, like I try my best to kind of like disassociate. Okay, I'm not thinking about the trailer because it's come up on the show. Sometimes trailers straight up lie to you. They give you shots that aren't in the movie. Yeah, with this, it does. It gives away enough where I could get ahead of the movie, which isn't something that I ever take pride in. It's not something I actively try to do. And even though I'm trying to disassociate between trailer and movie, yeah, but if the trailer was right, that means these things are going to have to happen. And then those things happen because she does end up going to prison in the movie. And yeah, I completely agree with you. I think a much better way to do it is to take the movie up through the first half of, yep, there is going to be an invisible man in this movie. You can have him breathing on the fucking porch and shit. but just lean into the themes a little bit more. The movie really gets into PTSD of abuse victims, of emotional and physical abuse, but then also gets into gaslighting, of her trying to convince everyone around her that what she's going through is happening and no one believes her. Like, to lean into its themes a little bit more, because otherwise right now this trailer literally just took the 2 hour long Avid file and just cut it down to 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, you're good at picking out the highlights, but you're so good at picking out the highlights. And now I'm at the point where, like, I remember all that shit, and it's really hard for me to disassociate with it once I'm in the theater.
Fair.
And so, does it sell the movie properly? It's the first time I guess I can say too well, because now I know too much going into the fucking movie.
That's fair. And I think we've said that before, or close to it with other films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a fair estimate. Yeah. But it sold the movie, right? Though
it did, yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, it did its job, I guess, but at the same time, it definitely overshared.
Sure.
So now let's get into the movie.
Spoilers.
Yes, and we'll go with the very first one right away. I love the restaurant scene so much.
So let's dive into that. So I think a lot of your points about knowing it will get to her being in prison.
Yes.
You watched that restaurant scene and were able to know that it goes down here.
Yeah.
And I marvel at that, but also at the same time, I'm so grateful that my brain didn't make that connection at all.
Well, for me, it was like, I was sitting back and was like, it'd be really cool if it went down this way, where she gets killed, like her sister gets killed in the restaurant, and then he implicates Elizabeth Moss for the murder.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be really cool. That'd be ballsy. I'm not sure if it's going to go down this way. And it did. And so it's one of those things where I was happy with that scene, not because I was like, oh, cool, it like went the direction I was hoping it would go in, but in that, yeah, this is a really cool scene. Like that I think is a really great and smart choice, because you make sure that she never feels safe. You can be in a crowded restaurant. It doesn't matter, you or your loved ones are still on the fucking line when the Invisible Man is after you.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really effective and really paranoia-inducing. But yeah, so, no, you're totally right, man. I did definitely, like, jump to that conclusion of where that scene would go. But I liked the scene so much that
it's a good scene.
Even though it was, like, in a sense sort of spoiled, no, like, and I can say that pretty much writ large for the entire movie. I really enjoyed myself. I don't know about you, but my theater was fucking into it.
So was mine.
Dude,
it was great. It was opening weekend.
Yeah.
Opening weekend makes a difference with these kind of movies.
I saw it, I think, like on a Tuesday or something.
It's still opening week for you, though.
Yeah,
because I saw it opening weekend, and I told you, see it this week so that we can talk about it. I loved every single twist. Or not twist, surprise.
Sure.
I was surprised by multiple things. It was the restaurant scene. It was how he's invisible. It's a camera suit, you guys. A camera suit. What? It doesn't even make sense, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, he's an optician, so it's like he works with like cameras, and that's how he's like a tech mogul in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so his suit is just a series of cameras that make it appear as if he's invisible.
It's projecting the thing behind the camera, which makes, and we've seen that technology in comic book movies before, like the helicarriers on Avengers, all that kind of shit. It's the same technology.
Yeah.
So that was a twist for me. The restaurant was a twist for me. When you fucking get back to the climax of the movie and she shoots him and she takes the mask off.
Oh,
I was just like,
brother,
and it's the brother. And I was just like, what the hell is happening? I'm so confused. But like in a fun way, I'm confused. I'm like, there's no way he was the guy the whole time. Are you saying he was actually dead this whole time? And then the SWAT team goes and uncovers him. And then I'm like, what am I I'm questioning so many things now. And that's so good, right?
Well, and it's so good because at that point, Elizabeth Moss has regained enough of her sense of self where she's like, no, I see through this. Like, I know it's him.
Well, and when James, the police officer, is like, oh, you've been through a lot, but yeah, he's okay, and it definitely was his brother, and she's like, have you not been paying attention this whole movie?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. He's still in on it. This is his design. And then the climax of the movie. Should we talk about just how it ends?
Yeah.
Again, didn't expect it to go that way. Have you seen Gone Girl?
I have. Huge fan.
When she walks in to the dinner scene at the end of the movie, I thought this was going the route of Gone Girl, where she comes home, he's like, welcome back, honey. He knows, she knows. She definitely knows. So like she knows, he knows she knows. But they're gonna like put on this performance because what else are we gonna do? Sure. Like that's what Gone Girl is, right? Yep. It's like we're stuck in this.
Well, yeah, it's with Gone Girl. It's like that was like her final trap card.
Yeah,
was
and
okay, then we're gonna be together.
That's how I thought the movie was gonna end, which would lead into a sequel of like the husband being the Invisible Man again, and her like making another final stand against him this time, not the brother.
I'm stretching here. It leaves it open maybe for an invisible woman.
Which is awesome.
Because, like they have this dinner scene. Elizabeth Moss is wearing a wire. She's trying to get him to confess. Him being the master manipulator that he is, keeps dodging the question and not saying anything incriminating. But what he does say is...
one word.
Yeah, surprise. Which is a repeated motif in word the Invisible Man would say to her to fuck with her.
In texts, in the shadows,
And so you get confirmation, of course he fucking did it.
Not just the viewer, but he's admitting it to her.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Because he thinks he won.
Yeah, exactly. And you have nothing to prove it with. And I can straight up say that word and invoke that in you. You can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go use the bathroom. Then she puts on an invisible suit that she had stashed away earlier in the movie and does to him what he did to her sister and fucking slits his throat at the table, but makes it seem like it's a suicide and it's on camera. And she basically beats him at his own game. And then as she's leaving, the cop who was listening with the wire, her friend, was like, you didn't even come for a confession, did you? And she's like, no, of course I did. I did everything I could, and then he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And then, whoop, she walks away. And that's the end of the movie.
It's excellent. I thought it was an excellent ending. I like to think that if he did confess, she would have been like, damn, I don't get to kill this guy now. You know what I mean? But I think it worked out just the way she wanted to.
I know. All right. You got me. I definitely did. No. Shush. I have to go to the bathroom.
She goes, oh, we're going through a tunnel. Oh, crap. We did an abridged version of that. What'd you think of the movie?
I really liked it. Yeah, my only note is there were a couple of points in order to get the gaslighting in full effect where the movie does have to contrive a couple of points. Specifically when the teenage daughter that they're staying with gets hit. It's scary and it's really abrupt, and I love that scene for its force.
Came out of nowhere.
But it's quite literally came out of nowhere. But at the same time, I mean, like the teenage daughter knows that Elizabeth Moss is across the fucking.
No, see, I don't think so. I think a child, or not a child, but
she's 17.
A girl of her age.
She's going to college.
Heck, because you don't know this technology exists. Elizabeth Moss is the only one who knows, and she would just have to go. Well, the most unlogical explanation has to be the explanation. We are the only two in this room. You can't be invisible. Therefore, she's way over there. She had to have hit me, though. There's no one else here. Like, I could see even me, if I just got hit in the head and it's just me and you here, my brain would go, you're way over there. But maybe my instincts would go, I need to get away from you. And I buy into that, is what I'm saying.
I'm really concerned because what you're making this set up as is you and I could be recording, and then Jenny, our bad movie correspondent and your roommate, could throw something across the room and peg you in the head, and then you would be like, huh, see me, and then just like pounce. That does unsettle me.
You're afraid I'm going to gaslight you?
Yes.
That would never happen, Kevin. Oh, ow! Kevin! What did you do?
God damn it, no, Jenny did. Get back here!
Sorry. I just had to.
Nah, that was good. Jenny didn't actually hit you.
Yeah, I know. It was Kevin the whole time. Thanks, Kevin, for hitting me.
Surprise.
Ooh, very good. What do you give it?
This, for me, is a strong glad I saw it.
Cool. All right, so step up from Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. For me, again, step up from Sonic.
Oh,
should see it again.
Really?
I came out of this and I'm like, this is my favorite movie so far this year.
Wow.
It's early in the year. I loved it. I was over the moon about this movie. Jenny and I talked about it for like hours after it.
Oh,
like
really?
how much we both loved it. I love this direction for Universal monster movies, man. More of this. Full stop. Please. Please and thank you. So there you go. That's all I got, Kevin.
That is all I got too, which is fitting because it's the end of the episode, James.
Yeah, we talked a while, so we should probably wrap it up.
We should wrap it up. Well, if you wanted to reach out to us, let us know what you thought about... you and I both have just been burping up a fucking storm.
It's the hard seltzer, man.
isn't it?
It's
God
early
damn.
in the day, so we went for hard seltzer instead of whiskey. Big mistake.
I think I have one more. No, I'll be okay. I can muscle through this. What did you think about Invisible Man? What do you think about Sonic? What do you think about any of the trailers we talked about? What would you have given the best trailer out to this
Let's keep
year?
talking about the Oscars, you guys. Keep it alive.
Keep it alive. 365. Yeah.
Hashtag keep it alive 365. I like that.
Keep it alive 365, baby. You can write into us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com. Now, you are probably like, oh no, I don't want to write into you guys. You failed. I want to vote on what movie to punish you with. Where can I do that? Facebook. Go on Facebook, look up Trailer Hitch. You'll be able to get at least a link to our poll. Because most of the time we do the polls on Twitter. If you go to @TrailerHitchPod, you will be able to vote there, or again, you might get a link. It depends on where we put the
You can
poll.
just comment at us too.
Just
comment one of the options.
Yes.
We'll count that as a vote.
Absolutely. Otherwise, if you want to take a picture and tell us what you'd like us to see, you can do that at Trailer Hitch Podcast on Instagram. Otherwise, if you would like to keep listening to these episodes, you might be doing so on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, that probably means that you have already subscribed to us, have already liked the video. But if you haven't, I mean, why not? You can also comment too. And with your permission, of course, we can read comments on the air if you would like us to. Otherwise, if you wanted to listen to us through Stitcher, you can do that if you're an Android user. Otherwise, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can rate, you can review, you can subscribe, you can do all of the things that help us find more listeners who also carry a love for trailers. Maybe not the Invisible Man trailer in retrospect, but other trailers like potentially Deerskin or The French Dispatch or Connected, whatever they may be. We would like to get as many people in on this as possible, and we thank you listening for being in on this with us. Now, before we go, James, do you have anything to add?
Invisible Man, go see it. I've been recommending it to a lot of people because I thought it was that good.
And I wholeheartedly recommend it as well. Just before we go, thank you so much to Jenny Hawks, our Bad Movie and social media correspondent, for all of her sterling work, up to and including throwing that book at James earlier. We would also like to thank Rachel Ashley, our amazing artist who does all the cover art that you see on our various social medias and our Apple podcasts. You can find her work at Mighty Creations on Instagram. We would also like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro song you get at the top of every episode. And we would also like to thank Casey Clowers for the awesome outro, which you will hear in just a second.
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Kevin, can I read some texts to you?
Please do.
Okay, so just get a text from Jenny.
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Oh, is it because we were screaming her name?
That might have been it, Kevin. That may have been it.
In
Following
retrospect.
text, I heard Kevin yell and say my name, but I don't know if it's a bit. ...
Did you reply?
And then later, no, I didn't reply. I was recording,
good
Kevin.
God.
And then she goes, okay, you guys sound all right. ... Last text. What book did I throw at you? So, Jenny, I know you can hear me. Thank you for participating in our post-credit scene.
You're welcome. Even when she's not at the mic, she's a comic god.